Hi guys, it's time to make another app again. This time we're going to be making one called MoleMash, which is similar to a whack-a-mole kind of game, and it's our first real game in the series, I think. So I hope you enjoy. I'm actually going to try and talk as little as possible during the demo because my voice isn't what it should be, and I want to give it a rest. So the first thing that we need to do is look for App Inventor 2. The URL is actually at the top of all the papers that I give you guys in Coding Club, but you can always type App Inventor 2 into Google and it's going to be the first result, App Inventor 2. Okay, we're going to press continue. Then we're going to go ahead and say projects, start new project. We're going to call it MoleMash. I'm going to call it MoleMash BLR. Those are my initials because I've already done MoleMash. And we're going to get started on something new. Okay, the first thing we need is a canvas, a label, and a button. And so I want you guys to go ahead and watch while I rename those. The width of the canvas is going to be 300 pixels, and the height is going to be the same, 300 pixels. Okay. I'm going to rename it My Canvas and say OK. We need a button. I'm going to put it up at the top. The button text is going to say reset. And I'm also going to rename this button reset button and say OK. Next thing we also need is a label. I'm going to put that underneath my reset button. In fact, I think I'm going to put it like this. My label is actually going to be score label, and the text, and the text is actually going to say score with a colon. You can see right there we have our first three pieces, all renamed in the components menu so that we can find it easily, and then we won't have anything to worry about later. Next thing we need to do is to have a sound component. This doesn't make sense. It's not a sound that we download. What it is actually something that stands in for the vibration of the phone. When you score a hit in this game that we're making, the phone will vibrate. And instead of having a notation for vibration, we call it noise. So we're going to pull a sound. We're going to pull a sound out from the media box. We're going to rename it noise. We're going to say OK. Next thing we need is a timer. We need to click on Sensors under Palette. This is a timer that will let the mole move around the screen at random. So we have to chase the mole and poke it in order to score a point. So we also need a clock. We're going to rename it Mole Timer. Remember, nobody sees these labels that are in the components menu except for us, and that's going to help us keep things organized and know exactly what we're doing when it comes time to design the blocks. The only thing we need to do as far as the time interval, over here on the mole timer, under properties, set it to 500. That is 500 milliseconds, or half a second, and that's how long it's going to stay in one place before it moves. So that number is obviously very important. You always want to make sure that when you're setting a button like this, you want to enable it. So make sure that timer enabled has a check mark underneath it, which this automatically does, but it's always a good thing to check. Next thing we're going to do is make an image sprite. An image sprite is a picture that moves, so it's under drawing and animation. An image sprite can only exist on the canvas, so you have to already have your canvas in place, and you have to make sure to place the sprite on the canvas. If you try to drag it somewhere else, nothing happens, it just goes away. Okay, we're going to rename our image sprite Mole. This is going to be our actual mole in the game. There's a picture in your email that I've given you today. I want you to go ahead and upload that file to our app. The picture is called mole.jpg, or .png rather. I want you to go ahead and load that in and press OK. And there you see there's Mr. Mole. He begins to appear. Things are coming together. After you've gotten the mole loaded, you need to go ahead and make sure your properties for the image sprite are correct. Anytime you're not sure what to do, I want you to go ahead and check my handout. Another tip I have for you is to not just sit there and watch this video play. What you should be doing right now is pausing the video, stopping, doing things along with me, and then starting again. These videos and these apps are quite complicated. If you sit there for 30 minutes watching my videos, you're just wasting time. I would like you guys to be a lot better at multitasking and working along with me. Okay, the interval should be 500. Make sure that enabled is checked over here. The interval should be 500, as I said. The picture is mole.png. X and Y in this case don't matter. Width and height should be automatic, which they are. So everything looks good. Okay, this is where it gets complicated. The next thing we need to do is design our blocks. The game itself is pretty cheeky easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. It doesn't have a whole lot of components or flashy lights or crazy stuff, but the blocks that control this app are actually quite complicated, and this is going to be our biggest challenge. Are you guys up for it? Go to the blocks menu. We're going to create a procedure, which is actually a repeating series of instructions. If you have something like this in your games, where something happens over and over, it's a lot easier to make a procedure to carry those instructions than programming the same thing in over and over. It's very boring for us, and a waste of time actually, because the machine will do something like that for us. Okay, the first procedure is to control where the mole goes. We're going to set a series of instructions so that every time the game is turned on, the mole on the screen will move around randomly. Okay, so we need to go to blocks, we click procedures, that's our starting point, and we drag the block that says to procedure do. Okay, easy enough. Okay, what we need to do is change where it says procedure to move mole. This is going to correspond to your labels that are here, so you have to make sure you followed my instructions very carefully, or your app will not run the way it's supposed to. So, to move mole, click on mole on the list of blocks, and the next set is to say set mole.x do. Let's find that. Here it is, set mole.x. Click. I love that sound. Okay. Click on mole in the list of blocks again. And we need to make our y value. set mole.y to, and click into place underneath. Okay, now's where it gets tricky. We're going to click on math. We're going to choose a multiplication block. It has 2 open spaces. You can see up here there's quite a lot. Here it goes. Okay. We need another multiplication block, so I can click on it and say Control C and Control V to copy and paste, and I'll click it into place. You can actually copy and paste rather than opening the drawers and looking through it again. Alrighty, everything looks great so far. We click on math again. We have to scroll down to random fraction right here. Random fraction, you want to go ahead and say Control C to copy, Control V to paste. Once again, we're going to click these random fractions in here. Next, we're going to click on math one more time, and now we need a subtraction block. But we need 2 once again, so Control C to copy, Control V to paste, and into the opening it goes. Whoops. There we go. Alright, we've got all these little holes to fill. Alrighty, next we go to My Canvas. Excuse me. Sorry guys. We go to My Canvas Width. My canvas.width, where is it? Right here. Okay, my canvas again. And we need to find my canvas height. Can be hard to find these. Here we go. Okay, and in the next one, we go ahead, we click on mole. And we say mole height and mole width. This one's mole width. Width and width go together. We click on mole again because we need mole height. Where are you? Am I going blind or what? Here we go. Mole height. Okay. The easiest way to remember this is width goes with width, height goes with height, so you don't get them mixed up. Alrighty, that's the first one. The next procedure we need to program is to tell the scoreboard what to do. The program will change the score. Every time that you've poked the mole, you get 1 point. We need to program the app so it knows what to do with that information. You're going to click on Variables. You're going to drag the block that says Initialize Global Name to. Okay, we have to change this. We're going to change the name to Score. Type it in. Okay, you want to click anywhere on the white part of the screen and type a number, 0. Going to create a block there and snap it into place. What this one does is make sure that the score is automatically set to 0 at the start of the game. Next thing we're going to do is click on Procedures. We're going to say to procedure do. We're going to click on Procedure and change it to Update Score. This is the second part of making sure that the score gets updated. Okay, next thing we want to do, click on Score Label. We are going to choose scorelabel.text2. And it looks like I'm running out of video, so I'm going to see you in part 2. But we're getting off to a good start. Bye guys.